It is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. I believe we have, I'm pretty sure we have, actually I kind of know we have a major eclipse event happening today, signifying greater alignment with the celestial body, a greater alignment with a divine plane that's higher than our understandings of reality. I was awakened last night from my sleep, or I woke up last night from my sleep. I'm not sure what time it was, 2 or 3. The use. I'm normally woken up around 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in order to do spiritual healing work, spiritual work with my ancestors, with our ancestors, as every dimension and aspect of this beautiful creation called God has 0 degrees of separation. So I was awakened to do some spiritual work with our ancestors. I found myself in the Holy Bible. I was going to go to Leviticus. Then I was like, no, Genesis. Genesis. Moses' account of God's word. Moses' account of creation. Moses' account of the proliferation of the human being of planet Earth, of the creation that is the human being of planet Earth. You know what's really, it's like a full circle moment, alert. When I was a small child, I woke up in the middle of the night, weird hours in the morning. And, you know, I felt so deeply, I could feel spirits around me, and I could feel it in my heart. My heart was wide open. I could feel spirits, and it would scare me. Like, it would make me uneasy. It would make me uneasy. It would make me feel alone. At that time I felt alone. So I just went into the closet, and then I opened up my Bible, Precious Moments Bible, and I read the first passage of Genesis, the account of the creation, God's creation of Earth. I said, and I got back in my bed. Full circle moment, alert. The curse that God cursed the human being of planet Earth with is so real. It's so real, and I felt it so deeply my whole life. I felt alone. Why, Ashley? God cursed the human being of planet Earth with the human being of planet Earth eating from the tree of knowledge, the Adam and Eve Garden of Eden story, which is many timelines. There are many. It's subjective. It's subjective due to the fact that time isn't linear, existence isn't linear. It's quantum. So there's many timelines that you can tap into energetically to perceive, you know, the true conception of the human being, or the Adam and Eve story. I'm being guided to understand the Holy Bible does a beautiful account to concise. Concise is a word. Concise is the word that's coming through. The Holy Bible has a concise account of the Garden of Eden, the story of man, the creation of the story of man, modern day man. Concise story. So the curse that God put on the human being it's extremely real. Why, Ashley? Because I felt it. I felt the dissonance between myself and different dimensions and aspects of myself. I can now perceive this. I now have this higher wisdom understanding that I felt a dissonance between my spirit self and my human self. As God cursed the human being to have amenity between your wives, your husbands, your family, your children, your daughters, your sons. What does that mean, Ashley? What did you see We have interests that supersede our interests that we have of ourselves. We're more interested in entertaining ourselves outside of ourselves. We're more interested in fulfilling ourselves outside of ourselves. We're more interested in what one might perceive as worldly things. There is nothing bad with an interest in worldly things, as we came to this planet to experience this planet, to experience this domain. The perceived problem comes where we have a dissonance within ourselves because we rather entertain this world. We rather seek fulfillment in the world rather than find the pieces within to activate fulfillment within, in order to be able to relate with ourselves without the dissonance between our spirit selves and our worldly selves or our humanism. When we find our harmony within between our worldly self or our humanism and our spirit self, which in all actuality have 0 degrees of separation, but that curse that God put on the human being of planet Earth, we see separation between our worldly self, our human self, and our spirit self. This perceived separation that was blanketed on the human being of planet Earth, on planet Earth, manipulated the consciousness of the human being of planet Earth to perceive a distance between the self and the self, the distance between the worldly self or the human self and the God self or the goddess self or the spirit self. And this dissonance with self perpetuated and stoked duality. Therefore, there was no way to find harmony within, as we had a manipulated consciousness that said, seek outside of yourself, that said, your pleasure is outside of yourself. This dissonance within, as there's no way to find harmony within when you feel as though your harmony and peace is going to come external from yourself in this world. There was no way for us to find harmony within. Therefore, there's no way to find harmony within the household, with your wife, with your husband, with your children, with your mom, with your dad, with your in-laws, with your cousins, with your sisters, with your brothers. There's no way to find harmony within that household when you don't have harmony within yourself. When I was a small child and I woke up in the middle of the night feeling the spirit energy, God aspect of myself in my heart, I feared it because of the curse that God casted on the consciousness of the human being of planet Earth. I crawled up in the closet, I turned the light on, and I read Genesis, the proliferation of the human being of planet Earth. Full circle moment, alert, alert. I have the understanding of who I am, as I was so graciously forced within myself to find out new dimensions and aspects of who I am, as we all are of the lineage of the characters, the beings of the Holy Bible. We all are of the lineage of Jesus, as Jesus has been traced back to be of the lineage of Adamu or Adam from the Garden of Eden, from the first man. We are all of the lineage of Jesus. We are all of the lineage of Adam, Adamu of the Bible, of the Holy Bible. We are all of the lineage of Jesus. We are all of the lineage of Adam, Adamu of the Holy Bible. We are all of the lineage of Jesus. We are all of the lineage of Adam, Adamu of the Holy Bible. And with me aligning with this understanding, I am full circle moment, alert, alert. I want to apologize to my brother, to my father, Jesus. I want to apologize to my father, Jesus. I want to apologize to my father, Jesus, as I couldn't perceive why he did what he did. I couldn't perceive why he gave his life for the human being of planet Earth. We're always where we're supposed to be, and we're always who we're supposed to be. So I have no shame. Any shame that I do have, I acknowledge you and I understand you. I didn't understand why Jesus gave his life for the human being of planet Earth. I now understand, as I have been a intuitive gnosis, intuitive knowledge as to why every character of the Bible had to walk their steps in which they walked. As you further your journey called life, as each individual character or human or being of existence journeys their character, journeys their journey called life, you activate into new levels of self. And as you activate into new levels of self, you embody new energetic embodiments of self. As you activate new levels of self and you embody new energetic embodiments of self, you emit that new energy, that new alchemy, that new energy into the creation in which we call God. And as you do this, as you emit the energy, the new alchemy that is you, the unique frequency that is you into the creation in which we call God, you allow for the proliferation, expansion, and love of God. Why did Jesus sacrifice himself for the human being of planet Earth? In order to continue, in order for our lineage to proliferate, to continue. Jesus pushing himself. God asked him, how far can you go? Jesus pushing himself, leaving that garden, knowing that he was going to go to his death, afraid, scared, in fear. He still went and met his seemingly demise on the cross as he was crucified. And when he did that, he activated into a level within himself in which he emitted an energy into the creation that we call God in order to sustain the human being of planet Earth so that we are able to be the modern human being of planet Earth, so that we are able to watch our TV, so that we are able to love with our family and friends, so that we are able to entertain ourselves, so that we are able to, I said watch our TV because I learn a lot from interviews, the telecommunication. We're so connected. On a spirit level, we're more connected than we are through telecommunication. And that's something that we're walking into. But we're so connected on a physical level that like we've never been before as a human being of planet Earth. We can turn on our television and perceive a human being that's on the other side of the planet and learn from them, study them, understand their mind, their energy, in order to understand our minds and our energies in a better way. Because every degree of this planet, every degree of the human being of planet Earth sums to zero. That's why I said watch TV. We're able to watch our televisions and do our socials and be more connected in the physical than we've ever been before as a human being of planet Earth. We're able to be the modern human being of planet Earth because of Jesus activating into the level of himself in which he was willing to sacrifice his life, sacrifice his picturesque dream of his family with Mary Magdalene, of his love with Mary Magdalene, in order to do thy will of our Creator. Thank you, Father Jesus. I perceived this last night, the wee hours of the morning, April 19, 2023. And then Methuselah, the man by the name of Methuselah, our forefather, by the name of Methuselah, our forefather, by the name of Methuselah, our forefather, by the name of Methuselah, came to me in energetic form and led me to understand the science, the math behind the curse of God, the wrath of God upon the human being of planet Earth as we perceived it, and the longevity of the life of Methuselah, of Methuselah's children, of the beings of the Old Testament of the Holy Bible. Methuselah did in fact supersede 900 years in his life. Methuselah did in fact supersede 900 years in his life. Methuselah did in fact supersede 900 years in his lifespan, which he's like, that was short. That was a short life. That was a short life when God casted his wrath upon a human being of planet Earth in order to train us, to be in this era of existence where we're the modern human being of planet Earth, transforming into the unconditional love of planet Earth. Methuselah is saying the 900 plus years was a short life, as we, our human bodies, have the potential, the capacity, the functionality to exist forever, infinitely. The wrath upon the human being of planet Earth by God stymied the wrath of the human being of planet Earth, casted on the human being of planet Earth by God, stymied the potentials of the lifespan of the human being of planet Earth. Methuselah did in fact live 900 plus years in his life, but that was short-lived compared to the potentials of the functionality of the human being's body of planet Earth. He allowed me to see this, for me to be able to perceive that it's time for a re-up. It's time for a re-up. It's time for a re-up. 900 years is amazing to us. At this energetic embodiment of the human being of planet Earth. Why, Ashley? Because we are getting into the space of our reality in which we must activate into new levels of self in order to emit the frequency, in order to allow for the unfoldment of the perfect human, or the unconditional love that is a human being of planet Earth. A human being of planet Earth that lives, loves unconditionally, loves self unconditionally, has a harmony within self, every dimension and aspect of self, does not despair or disparage any dimension and aspect of self, because we have the understanding that every dimension and aspect of self serves a purpose in the alchemy of the energy in which we are to emit in order to supersede the potentials of our forefathers. Unlimited possibilities, limitless realities, limitless self is for all beings, for all of humankind, for all of God's creation. I perceived as I convened spiritually with Paramahansa Yogananda, as Sir Yogi Guru Paramahansa Yogananda has been centrifugal with helping me clear away energies within my being that are blocking, stagnating the transcendence of God's creation, or the reformation, upliftment of God's creation. As I hold the stark polarities of dark and light energies within myself, the highest potential of light, the lowest potentials of dark energy incarnated or within the realms of planet Earth at this time, myself and my divine counterpart, my twin flame. As the divine feminine, energetically, I lead the way, so it's my duty, my responsibility to take responsibility for the stagnation of our planet, of our realm of creation, of God's creation. The experiment that is the human being of planet Earth is one in which God diminished self appropriately and intentionally as God left self, seemingly high and dry, in the most reclusive and provoking and atrocious situations, balancing those atrocious, reclusive, and repulsive situations with realities of abundance, realities of glitz and glamour, realities of seemingly all of the things in which you would want in your reality, in your life, as a human being on planet Earth. What would I do? God says, what would I do? I, being the oneness of all things, what would I do in a situation where I am under pressure in the way in which I embody energies of high and low? I embody energies of the creation of I, or the oneness of all. Energies that alchemize dysfunction, and energies that I created myself, or the human being of planet Earth, to alchemize, transcend, harmonize within. What would I, or the oneness of all things, do within the situation, the experiment of the human being of planet Earth? God intentionally created self-hate. God intentionally created self-hate in order to be able to alchemize the remedy of the most powerful and potent love. In order to have balance or harmony, you have to have stark, polar aspects alchemize, unite, and harmonize in order to find the most abundant equilibrium, the most abundant harmonizing alchemy, the most betterment of self. God created the human being to hate self and to chase after things, all the small things in the world, all the small things in the world, all the small things in the world that have no comparison to the truth of self. But we hate self so much that we can't look at self. What do? We disparage self by disparaging each other. We only create energies and connections and creations and procreations in which we disparage self as we think we're disparaging others. We had past tense, the greatest disdain for life, as we showed time and time again that life is far less important than all of the small things in the world that we chase after, that we admire so dearly, that we admired so dearly. Coming into this realization, sitting with God, the prophecy of the human being of planet Earth, being a human being on planet Earth with no famine, the prophecy of the human being of planet Earth, being a human being on planet Earth with no poverty, the prophecy of the human being on planet Earth, being a human being on planet Earth with no disease, the prophecy of the human being on planet Earth, being a human being on planet Earth of vitality, long lives, infinite incarnation, soul level option, if you will. Within the next 10 years is fulfilled, has been fulfilled. We now wait, or we live our lives, and we love ourselves, and we love each other with the magnitude in which we love ourselves in order to bring this reality within fruition. It is 2023, 2033. 2033. The human being of planet Earth will understand why all of the things in the world are all of the small things. It is 2023 by the year 2033. It is 2023 by the year 2033. The human being of planet Earth will understand why Anything that you can find in this world is truly all of the small things in comparison to the magnificence that is within, that is the human being, that is creation, that is the oneness of all things, that is God. It is 2023. By the year 2033, the human being of planet Earth will understand why. Why the history of your ancestors? Because just like your ancestors, you, us, dear ones, are warriors that fought for this space and reality, fought for this harmony, fought for this unconditional love that is the human being of planet Earth, that is the oneness of all things, that is God. As the veil falls on planet Earth, as planet Earth is exposed to high vibrational, high frequency energies, in which will expose our beingness in a way that anything that is other than energetic embodiment will be shifted away, and all that we embody on the energetic level will be magnetized to us, what we term good, bad, ugly, and in between. So words, we say a lot. Words are going to we're going to have to be slow to speak and fast to listen. Slow to judge and fast to extend compassion. Slow to be combative and fast to seek harmonious conversations. As we're going to be able to see more now than ever, how we are only being mirrored in our realities, in every moment, in every situation. So to judge any energy that comes up in your space is to judge self. This has always been the case, as we reside and we are the oneness of God. So anytime you judge anything, you're only judging yourself. But this will become more apparent now than ever. And we're going to be blushing. We're going to be blushing with embarrassment and shame. But we must soon transcend embarrassment and shame and laugh it off. Laugh it off, and allow ourselves to grow. Allow ourselves to grow from this experience called life on planet Earth at this time in space and reality. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. The human being on planet Earth is graduating into the beings of incarnation whom have the soul level option to last in their incarnations throughout the existence of infinite creation, limitless creation. There are many star beings or extraterrestrial beings, beings of different concepts of creation, in which at this time planet Earth does not have the conscious synapse understanding to process within their being. But extraterrestrial beings, interdimensional beings, beyond otherworldly beings, other realmly beings that last in their incarnations infinitely and are able to traipse through God's creation and utilize the gifts of their infinite sojourns, utilize the gifts of their infinite expansion, utilize the gifts of their infinite knowingness of thyself or knowingness of God in order to disperse their energies and understandings throughout God's creation in order to assist with the upliftment and expansion of God's creation infinitely. Welcome home, human beings of planet Earth. We're not supposed to know. We're supposed to allow God or the divine or self to move through us, to utilize us in every moment, and grow and learn from those moments that we create as we allow self or God or the divine or the oneness of all things to move through us. Oh, oh, oh. Being honest, I had qualms with this. Being honest, I had qualms with this. Why? Because with elevating within yourself, you meet dimensions and aspects of, of creation or the collective of the human consciousness, of the consciousness of all. In order to elevate within yourself, you have to explore the extremes and everything in between. You have to explore the spectrum of the energies in order to learn and grow from the spectrum of energies. So, like the densest or darkest of ego, I took on. I had a big ego. You got a big ego, such a huge ego. But he loved my big ego. I had a big ego. I have a big ego because it's like still a part of me, but it's about being aware of it so I don't utilize it so I can be aware of it and I can utilize it. God can use it as God sees fit to move through me in every moment. So, I had qualms with it. But it's like, Tahuti, Thoth the Atlantean, Thoth, his energy, he brought this to my awareness. Because I said his name, I listened to one of the Kingdom Things podcast episodes, and his name came up, Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus. And in that section, I channel, Google or search Tahuti, Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, and wherever that search takes you, that's what's supposed to take you, because Tahuti or Thoth or Hermes Trismegistus presents himself in this, their self in our reality in order to teach us and grow us into universal codes, universal law, universal happenings and workings, divine happenings, divine workings, in order for us to live in alignment with these universal codes, universal divine happenings, universal divine laws, in order for us to grow and expand as, individuals and as a collective, as a planet, as an ecosystem called planet Earth, Father, Mother, Gaia. So when I heard their name, like I got a intuitive nudge to research, like, because I said research, I had the intuitive nudge, but instead of going to like my phone or computer, I just said Tahuti in my head. I said Tahuti in my head, and when I said that, I got the download. I got the intuitive download, Bena Gnosis, that we're not supposed to know. We're just supposed to allow our Creator to operate through us, utilizing the energies that we acknowledge within ourselves to experience every moment in order to grow and expand within ourselves, with the collective that we find ourselves within, with the oneness of all things, or God. In and of ourselves, the collective that we find ourselves in, the oneness of God, in all actuality, have 0 degrees of separation. I was like, okay. And the way I got it is like, Tahuti was like, you think I memorize all this stuff? Like, it's like, no, like I channel it. Just like you channel things. Like all the beings of creation, we channel. But we like to feel like it's us. The ego likes to think it's them. It's us. It's only us. Like, one for all. I'm for myself. I'm doing this by myself. And where that comes from, every human being, every being knows that we're pawns or operatives or instruments for the Creator, for the Most High White Light Creator energy, for God. But what it is our inner children, our bruised inner children. We those aspects of ourselves won't allow us to operate in our fullest capacity, because those aspects of ourselves operate out of greed and dysfunction, operate out of alignment with the oneness of all things, operate out of alignment with understanding that it's not me, it's not I, it's God operating through me. Yes, it's fun to have our characters and personalities. But we have to allow ourselves to transcend the notion that our personalities, our egos are who we are, and allow ourselves to empty ourselves in the way that we can perceive that our egos, our personalities are a part of our experience, are an instrument of our experience, are just a dimension and aspect of our experience, and not who we are in our totality. Only God, only the Most High, Infinite Creator knows the lyrics to our songs. Only God, only the Most High, Infinite Creator knows the lyrics to our songs. Only God, only the Most High, Infinite Creator knows the lyrics to our songs. God, the Most High, Infinite Creator, having 0 degrees of separation from self or ourselves. Ourselves, self, the Most High, Infinite Creator is the oneness of all things. And we're at the end of an era. We're out of an era in which our futures, our lives are dominated by the energies of our circumstances, the energies of proclivity, the energies of ancient traditions, the energies of familial impressions. Our families, our parents, whether our parents are present or not, they have an energetic impression on the child in which the child seeks that energy of the parent for validation for the direction of the child in their lives. This is an old way of being, as God needs us to step out of familial lineage, tradition, step out of ancient tradition, step out of what was, in order to create something new. As what was only perpetual, energetic embodiments of what was. The same story played over and over again. It is what was. Only God knows the lyrics to our stories. Instead of trying to leave an impression on our children, it's time to heal our internal environments, heal ourselves, so that we come into the alignment, the understanding that we have no control. We've never had control. We had the illusion of control. We never had control. We have the illusion of control. We never had control. We only had the illusion of control. It's time for us to step within ourselves. Every individual, no matter how young, no matter how old, every individual. And that's another thing. Our society has to transcend ageism. We made that up, transcending ageism. However you want to be at your age, that's you go to God and you talk to God about it and watch God work. We have to come into an era of understanding internal balance, healing, alignment with God or ourselves or the oneness of all things, to understand that every person, every family, every friend, every child has their own path, has a unique song, unique lyrics that they're supposed to sing in and of themselves. It's time that we, instead of trying to be impressionable onto other people, we try to understand, get to know, and love others as we should make the effort to get to know, understand, and love ourselves in order to glean the lyrics to others' songs, share the lyrics to our songs, love and grow into something new together. As the culture of the human being of planet Earth, as the oneness of all things. And so it is. So it is. And so it is. The date is April 21st, 2023. I'm going to allow God, Goddess, or myself to move through myself. Why is there death? Why is there suffering? The human being of planet Earth has been casted in a shell of reality. A shell of reality in which we can only perceive the shell of reality We can only perceive that in which has been gleaned by previous predecessors of our reality. And even with that, we oftentimes can't glean the peak wisdom of that of our predecessors without the peak understandings of the importance of internal alignment in order to be able to glean the peak wisdom of our predecessors. Why is there death? Why is there suffering? We know everything. We believe we know, and that which we don't know, we seek to try to understand. And this perpetual cycle of seeking to try to understand that in which we don't know and reinforcing what we know as the truth, our truth and our only truth, keeps us in a perpetual loops, cycles in which we call karma, karmic patterns. Karmic patterns which are perpetuated by the dualistic consciousness of the human being of planet Earth as we judge our karmic patterns as good or bad. We judge our karmic patterns as low vibration or high vibration. We judge our karmic patterns as prey versus predator. The conversations that we have external to ourselves, 80% of the time, are conversations that we should have had within. A wise man once said, be quick to listen and slow to speak. The conversations in which we have external to ourselves, 80% of the time are conversations we were supposed to have with our God or Goddess essence within. But we take our qualms, we take our joys, we take our excitements, we take our ups and we take our downs. And we are quick to want to share our joys, our excitements, our ups and our downs, our qualms with individuals seemingly outside of ourselves. This is a true psychosis. This is the true schizophrenic state of imbalance in the human being genome. As we are here to work into new levels of understanding of self. We are here to glean new levels of appreciation of self. We are here to glean new levels of self-mastery. But we focus all of our energy external to ourselves. And this is our creation that is death. As focusing our energy external to ourselves, we bleed ourselves of our life force energy. We bleed ourselves of the opportunity to rejuvenate self by understanding self, coming into deeper levels of self, greater energetic embodiments of self. Why is there death? We created it. Our bodies are intended to last infinitely. Why are there seemingly limitations and finite resources on our planet? We created that. We created the limitations and the finite resources as we leech from each other for energy, for validation, for experience versus going within to love on ourselves and come into new levels of love within self in order to activate energetic embodiments within self that are to be seated within this planet to assist with the accumulation, the projection, the manifestation of limitless possibilities on this planet for the collective, for the self, for the oneness of all things. The human being of planet Earth was the worst homie, lover, best friend. The human being of planet Earth was the worst lover and friend, homie, lover, best friend. Why, Ashley? The universe has said, the universe told me, the universe has said, The universe has said. The universe was exasperated, is exasperated, is exasperated, is exasperated. Why, Ashley? We take, we ask, we ask, we ask. As we take, we ask, we ask, we ask. We may or may not acknowledge the fulfillment of what we ask for. Even if we do acknowledge the fulfillment of what we ask for, we want more. Not only do we want more, is we don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop. We don't stop to give back. To think, maybe I should be a decent human being since, I'm gifted with breath. I'm gifted with sight. I'm gifted with taste. I'm gifted with touch. I'm gifted with. Maybe I should give back. Maybe. The human being has an innate inclination for give me that. When we see something, we want it. We see someone else with something, we want it. Give me that. It's an innate inclination that's in every human being. Whether or not we allow ourselves to become self-aware, to perceive ourselves wanting things that we only want because others have it, and not because it's an imaginative creation of our own making, but it's something that someone else has. Guilty. The human being only asks that we go within to acknowledge and activate self in order to come into alignment with our divinity, our divine selves, our authentic energies, in order to assist with the creation, manipulation, diversification, replenishing, rejuvenation of our universe, of the creation called God. So I'm walking to the grocery store, doing some work under the hood of the collective consciousness called humanity. My ancestors, earthly cosmic ancestors. And you know how we have past tense had, a dualistic consciousness where, you pick a side. And we're competitive, so we go hard for our side. It's like how you go hard for your favorite sports team. You go hard for your side, right? You go hard for your family. You go hard for your career. You go hard for your kids. You go hard in the kitchen, You go hard. And then, we think of those that are kind of, we call it like a meandering or mediocre or in the middle, medium, average. Like there's a negative connotation with meander, medium, average. There's a negative connotation. But you know what's in the middle? You know what's average? You know what's in the medium? You know what's in the middle? I think I said that. Equilibrium. Equilibrium is in the middle. Equilibrium is balance. Equilibrium is average. It's not going hard for each side or tilting super hard on one side or the other. It's experiencing the spectrum. As we're human, we're energies having this human experience. Part of the dimensionality of self is humanity, human. So we can say that we're humans. Part of our dimensionality is human. But the plethora of other dimensions and ingredients and aspects. We feel the spectrum of emotions and energies. And I was with my ancestors, like, why do I fear love? Why do I fear conflict? Why do I fear love? Why do I fear conflict? Why do I fear love? Why do I fear conflict? Our notion of the plague, the pestilence, disease within our consciousness that says all is fair in love and war. The disease, the pestilence within our consciousness, the plague within our consciousness that says all is fair in love and war. The disease, the plague within our consciousness called humanity, human being of planet Earth that says all is fair in love and war. disregarding the covenants that we make with ourselves, or disregarding the covenants that we make with God when we ask God for something. God delivers. But we run away or throw away the things that we ask God for, because all is fair in love and war. I was wondering, why am I so afraid of love? Why am I so afraid of conflict? Because within love, you're going to find conflict. Because there's a spectrum of energies and emotions that are within love. Because love is the dimensionality of all things, acknowledging and accepting the pertinence of the dimensionality of all things. So why do I feel it? All is fair in love and war, says the human being of planet Earth. The disease, the pestilence, the plague is the imbalance of never being able to find peace or equilibrium because of the meandering within the spectrum of existence. We meander because we break our covenants, or we step outside of the boundaries of what we're experiencing in this moment in order to run from what we're experiencing in this moment, or run from ourselves. We have to tie up the loose ends by being with ourselves in every moment, feeling our emotions, so we can learn from our emotions in order to be catapulted or catalyzed into, equilibrium. Allow ourselves to feel our way through our energies and our emotions in every moment, and allow ourselves to be placed back into 0 point or equilibrium. What's in 0 point, Ashley? Magic. 0 point energy is magic. 0 point energy is manifesting your reality at your will. 0 point energy is manifesting your reality at your will. 0 point energy is manifesting your reality at your will, but we're so afraid of average or equilibrium or peace. We're so afraid of peace. We're so afraid of peace. We're so afraid of peace because we love the game. We loved the game. We loved the drama of what we created in All is Fair in Love and War. The energies that we created with the notion that all is fair in love and war, leaving behind integrity, leaving behind morals, respect, ingenuity, trust, loyalty, love, authenticity. Because all is fair in love and war. We are the antediluvians. We are the civilizations of high technology consciousness before the flood. Floods that reset the advanced civilizations of planet Earth. We are the antediluvians. There's a saying that keeps popping up in my conscious awareness clairaudiently. The only thing that changes is the price of gold. The only thing that changes is the price of gold. The only thing that changes is the price of gold. Until now, I wasn't able to glean and understand what God, my ancestors' spirit, were trying to tell me, were trying to signify to me, were trying to send a message through me. Didn't understand. Because, the saying that we have it as the only thing that changes is the price of gold. The only thing that changes is the price of gold. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Because I have my understanding. I have the understanding that God gave me. Or my spirit aspect of stuff gave me. Only thing that changes is the price of gold. I think the only thing that stays the same is the price of gold? Give me one sec. Price of gold. I think we have it like. I think we say the only thing that doesn't change is the price of gold. I think that's what we said or something like that. I think that's our saying. So the only thing that changes is the price of gold. Was popping up in my peripheral, my conscious awareness. I'm like, what does that mean, God? God's self. What does that mean, God is self? What does that mean, God is self? And I'm able to glean it. I'm watching Ancient Aliens, Extraterrestrial Origins of Mythological Beings. That's the title of the Ancient Aliens episode. Ancient Aliens, Extraterrestrial Origins of Mythological Beings. Ancient Aliens, Extraterrestrial Origins of Mythological Beings. The only thing that doesn't change is the only thing that changes is the price to go clairaudiently. It keeps on coming up in my parameter conscious awareness. I'm like, what does that mean? Divine self, goddess self. What does that mean? I'm watching the episode, and you have the experts that are like, what are these mysterious things that we're finding at these archaeological digs? We have these elongated skulls. What is this? Is it just, there's rituals practiced around the world of binding of the skulls of the feet of the neck. Is that what we're finding? The only thing that changes is the price of gold. God's creation is, and can be broken down into fractals. And within each fractal, God seeds and implements certain variables in order to learn, grow, and expand from those variables in that fractal of creation. Or like the garden. We can call them like gardens in that garden of creation. The things that are seated in each fractal of creation or each garden of God's creation, in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the picture of like a kaleidoscope image. You know how kaleidoscope image is various fractals that kind of repeat themselves. That's how God's creation is. It's a garden. It's a very well planned out garden. It's giving Versailles, Versailles. It's giving very meticulous. It's giving very well organized, very well top floral designers, top gardeners is what it's giving. Versailles. The gardens at Versailles is what it's giving. So within the kaleidoscope image, just think of each fractal in the kaleidoscope image as a garden, and God seeds different variables in each garden in order to learn. But in a kaleidoscope, the fractals repeat. It's like that. The fractals repeat the variables that are in each garden, as below so above, as imaged in the other quadrants of the kaleidoscope image. It's going to be as below so above. So it's going to be the exact same variables in that fractal of creation or in that garden of creation. The only thing that will change within those fractals of creation or that garden of creation, as below so above, is the price of gold or the understandings within that garden of creation of those beings in the garden of creation. As the price of gold is a commodity, an earthly commodity, and who creates the value of the earthly commodity? The consciousness of the beings in that garden or on planet Earth or in that creation, fractal of creation. The only thing that changes is the price of gold. We on our planet, we have much of the same things, beings, resources as a planet and a universe due north. A universe, was due north of the time-space continuum. There's a planet that has the same variables as our planet. that have the same mission and goal as our planet of ascending God's creation into higher vibrational to unconditional love. But their understandings of who they are is different because their understandings of who they are is interdependent on their ecological evolution. So what those beings of that planet created is interdependent on their understandings of who they are, their mission, and their purpose within God's creation. On our planet, we evolved into an amnesiac state where we look at all of these things seemingly external to ourselves, and we create a illusionary gap, and we're trying to figure out what these things external to ourselves are, when in all actuality, they're dimensions and aspects of ourselves being projected into our external reality. And if we go within and sit with ourselves, we'll get the solutions and answers by tapping into higher conscious awareness, understanding of who we are, who God is, what creation is. In all actuality, a higher consciousness understanding of who God is, who we are, what creation is, has 0 degrees of separation. On our planet, we chose to evolve into an amnesiac state where we have very little understanding of who we are, where we are, what our planet is, what our beingness means in creation, what role we're supposed to play in creation. So we developed this grandiose identity within the self that changes like the price of gold. Our understandings of reality, our understandings of the commodity of reality. And we believe that we're the only ones seeding God's creation with higher awareness, with an evolutionary stroke on the canvas of God, when in all actuality, we are a garden of Versailles. I like that. We are the garden of Versailles in a fractal of creation within the oneness of God, with many gardens of Versailles residing within our fractals and infinite other fractals within the oneness, the infinite oneness of God. We are being influenced on our day-to-day reality by these other fractals or other garden of Versailles within our reality, just as we influence other fractals, other garden of Versailles within their realities.